Neetaji, if you're there with us, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, Pinarayi Vijayan, has he failed the state of Kerala? And should he be held accountable for what has happened today? And of course, a build-up to a number of, terrorist ecosystem which has plagued Kerala in the last few years.
No, absolutely. I mean, it is extremely disturbing to see how my state is becoming a vulnerable hotspot for all kinds of terrorism and all kinds of, disturbing events like what happened today. It's extremely unfortunate, and it's an isolated incident in terms of the India story. The India story, we are making our borders so fortified and strong. The Modi government is doing so much to, for anti-terror activities, and the kind of, if you see our history over the last decade, we've not had these kind of terrorist attacks anywhere else. And if you see before that, how vulnerable we were and how strong we've become now. But Kerala seems to be an absolute anomaly in the country's, map of security, the map that we are resonating across the globe as a strong and, fortified country. And if you look at Kerala's history, there have been various such incidents, starting from, 2003, where we had the Murad massacre in the beach, where, many Hindu fishermen were killed in the Murad beach. Then we had 2 bomb blasts in 2006, which were also these kind of, Lone Ranger, as a professor said. But then they were, they had links to various terrorist sources across the globe. And we have seen how these kind of terrorist, attacks have had links with ISIS, and the PFI crackdown recently in Kerala is also, kind of a manifestation of the deep malaise that's there in the Kerala society, even if it's a Lone Ranger attack. But, we have to probe into the kind of malaise that is plaguing our society today. So what is the reason that people are resorting to such violence, and that too in a kind of a domestic event, in a Jehovah Witness group, a Christian religious group, event where there are so many people congregating. So this is absolutely a completely dastardly and terrorist attack,
right,
even if it is done by one single person. So I think what we are demanding is a probe, and NIA and of course the investigating agencies have also started probing into it. But Kerala government should ensure that those who are injured should be taken care of, and also probe deeply into this series of attacks that are happening in Kerala. And also, as you said, hosting a Hamas leader in a public event in Kerala is absolutely it's extremely disturbing to see. Are we not part of India? Are we not echoing the same story as the government of India on the terrorist attack that happened in Gaza? So I mean, we cannot have a different voice, in the state, when the country is kind of, hymning a different, humming a different tone.
Right.
So, resounding what Professor Nalapat said and what Rahul Ishwar said, we are, our sympathies and our empathies are with both the countries, Palestine and Israel, but we are singularly against terrorism of all forms, and Hamas is a manifestation of terrorism. If you look at the history of Hamas, it's a jihadi militant organization, the genesis of which was just militancy and terror attacks, and they've embraced philosophies like suicide bombing. And so this kind of, and taking, innocent civilians hostage is their philosophy, is their policy. And we can never stand with a terror attack that has been instigated by an agency such as Hamas. And the reason why, as Professor Nalapata has also very clearly said, the reason why we abstain from voting is because the word Hamas was not mentioned in the resolution. So therefore, we need to have a conclusive stand against Hamas and against terror of all forms, terrorism of all forms. So that is the reason why we abstain from that. But coming to the humanitarian aid aspect, Modi ji has also, our government has gone forward and given humanitarian assistance to Palestine, as well as we are also, with Israel in the struggle against terrorism. So we want peaceful borders, as was stated very clearly in the UN, in the United Nations. We want fortified, peaceful borders through negotiations, and not through terror attacks and not through war. So we are against war, we are against terrorism of all forms.